Hey guys, I'm super excited to share that I got to listen on a cerebral palsy webinar through the Cerebral Palsy Foundation, and a guy by the name of Carlos. He has cerebral palsy, and he was born in Mexico, but he moved um, from Mexico to um, Canada when he got older because he wanted to. His cerebral palsy is a mild version of cerebral palsy, so he can walk. He has crutches, and he now lives independently in Canada. He has his own apartment, and he talked about like how he um like is living his life with cerebral palsy, and how he talked about some of the challenges he had to go through when he was in school, um like when he was younger, he used a walker, so sometimes it was hard for him to. Um, he was afraid that his friends wouldn't accept him for who he was, but they gravitated towards his attitude about life, and he just made a bunch of friends, and he had to like experience like kind of the same things I did in junior high and high school. His teachers, um, which I really like this about the both of us, like our teachers treated us the same way they treated any other student, and he was responsible for his work, any homework assignments or anything like that. He He went to college and graduated with a communications degree. So like he has a lot of experience in the public speaking world, and like now he works for the Cerebral Palsy Foundation. Um, and he's basically spreading awareness about not just cerebral palsy but disabilities in general, to make um, things better for people with disabilities, like living on your own kind of thing, and like advocating for yourself, things like that. It was just very interesting, and if you guys are interested, Carlos has a podcast called Life Without Limits, and he just talks about his story with cerebral palsy, and he talks about his parents, how his parents really struggled when he was born because they lived in Mexico, and they really struggled on how to get him like physical therapy out there, and like they were kind of like in shock that he had a disability, but they just had to look at it differently and say that God just made him this way, and they got him into physical therapy, and he did physical therapy until he was about like 16 or 18, and then he did it on his own when he was at home, and now he does it when he's away in Canada. Like I said, he's very independent, but his family is very supportive of him, even though he lives so far away. He keeps in touch with his family. He has like nieces and nephews, all that stuff. So, I mean, even though you have a disability, like, you can, life is limitless. Like, your disability is limitless. And I'll be honest, like, sometimes, like, I forget that I have a disability. It doesn't even faze me, to be honest. Like, and I'm very interested in listening on his podcasts, and I personally am gonna get in touch with the Cerebral Palsy Foundation and see if I can do a Zoom call with them and kind of share my story and kind of backpack on what Carlos said and just share my experience with it, because everybody's version with or diagnosis with cerebral palsy is different. And not everybody is in a walker. Not everybody is in a chair. Like, there's people, like I said, in walkers, in crutches. There's people in wheelchairs. There's people that have speech impediments, that can't talk at all. So it's just the way you're diagnosed. People can be diagnosed in different ways. It just depends on where your injury happened at birth. And it's okay to share your story. It's okay to ask questions. Like, I mean, that's why myself and people like Carlos are speaking out to the world and sharing our story, because I think it's important to educate people on disability awareness and what it's about. And like I said, if you guys are interested in listening to his podcast, it's called Life Without Limits, and you can follow him on Instagram, Life Without Limits. Please do. He seems like a really, really cool guy. I'm super excited that I got to listen in on this webinar this afternoon. It was very interesting and very educational. So just keep thriving on what you're doing, because you might not realize this, but you are touching a lot of people's lives out there, and because you have a disability, you're advocating for people all throughout the world. And like I said, and Carlos said the same thing, like, it's okay to ask questions about your disability. It's okay to, like, share your story. Like, that's what we're here for. So I just, it was very interesting to hear his story on how he went to school and like how he grew up, because I could relate in many different ways, like with school and stuff, and like physical therapy and all the things. So it was just interesting to hear his perspective on his story. So yeah, and again, his podcast and Instagram is called Life Without Limits. I highly recommend you guys check it out, and I will see you guys later. Bye.